put up their tents, behind the site, under the bridge, in the channel, and it's growing.
The homeless people at Chico's alternative site will have some new rules to follow in response to mounting safety concerns from neighbors. Plus, law enforcement went undercover to make a major copper wire theft bust in Butte County. We spoke with Sheriff Corey Honey about the arrest of a local business owner allegedly connected to the crimes. And new developments for the recently closed Glenn Medical Center. 2 of our congressmen are making a push in Washington, D.C. to bring back services. We spoke with both of them, Senator Adam Schiff and Congressman Doug LaMalfa, about their plans.
Covering Northern California. You're watching Action News Now. Coverage you can count on.
Chico City leaders are working to fix conditions at the alternative homeless campsite on Eaton and Cohasset roads here amid growing safety concerns from neighbors. This week, council members approved adding security, banning generators, gas cans, and propane tanks as well, plus stricter rules for enforcing the code of conduct at that site. Action News Now reporter Sade Pullen joins us there live. Sade, are neighbors happy with these changes?
Yes, Haley, I spoke to neighbors and they tell me that they are satisfied with these new safety measures put in place. But some I talked to did say that they're worried about the illegal campsites near the alternative site. Eric Gustafson, the city's public works director for operations and maintenance, says 2 representatives from the Jesus Center will be at the alternative site 7 days a week from 2:30 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. for daily monitoring, and there will be armed private security. Gustafson says the city does not know yet the hours the armed security guard will work, but they will most likely be on duty at night into the early morning hours. This is all happening due to vocal neighbors who asked city leaders to do something to keep them safe. One neighbor told me back in July after a shooting at a site that a man showed up at her door with a gunshot wound. Gustafson says even though they're stepping things up, there's only so much the city can legally do.
The biggest thing they need to do is do an official enforcement around the camp. There are people that were asked to leave back in June. I watched them. They're still there. And I told them that if they do an enforcement and they can cut down on the number of people who are there, that will cut down on the number of people that come and go from there and cause a lot of problems.
Sure, it's definitely on the radar, and it will be identified for an upcoming enforcement. Currently, we're terming the notification process for 3 other locations right now, which we intend to enforce and clean early next week on Monday, and that's Little Chico Creek from Bruce Road and then we'll decide the next enforcement area several days after that.
Gustafson says when it comes to camps near the site, they have to go through a process to start enforcement because of the Warren versus Chico settlement. But the illegal camps around the alternative site are on the city's radar. Now, in 2 months, the city council will review these new safety measures in place to see how effective they've been. Live in Chico, I'm Sade Pullen, Action News Now.
Thank you, Sade. Well, 18 people currently live at the alternative site. Efforts are underway to relocate 6 of them to the Genesis Pallet Shelter. Shasta County Board Chair Kevin Cry is moving to block a major behavioral health project. I spoke to him just an hour or so ago, and he told me, quote, I encourage everyone to come out to the supervisors meeting at 1450 Court Street and see for themselves why many of those who had given letters of support will be pulling their support. The True North initiative currently does have 49 formal letters of support. Supporters of that planned healthcare campus say it would bring over $200 million in state funding and 200 healthcare jobs to the county. The Shasta Health Assessment and Redesign Collaborative says it would keep local healthcare in the area and it would address critical service gaps. Now, that board meeting is a special one. It's set for tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., and we will have a reporter there. New developments. Our representatives in Congress and the Senate are working together to try to bring back Glenn County's medical center, the only one there that's now shut down. Action News Now reporter Margot Rowe spoke with Senator Adam Schiff and Congressman Doug LaMalfa about it. Margot, they're both introducing separate bills to reverse the closure, right?
Yes, Haley. So Senator Adam Schiff introduced his bill today that aims to reverse the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services decision to revoke the hospital's critical access designation, or CAD. Now, the hospital's CAD was revoked due to CMS determining the hospital was too close to Colusa Hospital by 2.5 miles. Now, Senator Adam Schiff and Congressman Doug LaMalfa are actually working together to put two bills forward, as both say that bringing the hospital back is critical to I-5 drivers and the community.
I want to get that hospital reopened. I want to make sure that people in that county can access a hospital. It could be the difference between life and death. And so I've introduced this bipartisan bill to try to fix this. That is, hospitals that had that designation shouldn't lose it because someone recalculated the mileage a different way and found the hospital just slightly too close to another hospital that is still pretty far away.
That using a different set of roads and made that interval too close. I mean, it can be addressed pretty easily in a bill, but it takes a while to pass a bill. So that's what I'd have to say is just as much as possible, hang with us on this. And, it's got bipartisan, House and Senate. I want to think that's going to pass.
LaMalfa says he will be introducing his bill tomorrow. So when the government shutdown is over, two measures will be in play to reopen the hospital. Now, due to the government shutdown, the next steps to pass the bills are on hold at the moment. And Schiff and LaMalfa couldn't give me a timeline on when the government could reopen, but LaMalfa is hoping for next week.
Okay, thanks, Margot. Schiff also worked with Republican Senator Cindy Hyde-Smith from Mississippi to draft the bill. He says her state's also facing struggles of rural hospitals closing. Now we have a beautiful live look at the sunset over Lake Oroville from our Bloomer Cam, and our chief meteorologist, Howie Gordon, is tracking conditions for us on this Thursday.
Yeah, beautiful day today, Haley. A little warmer and obviously more drier compared to yesterday. Not that we took much of anything in the rain, just really trace amounts unless you're up in some of the higher elevations. But a little bit below average today, but warmer than yesterday with highs. Well, I'm not going to give the exact highs. You got to tune in tonight at 11, but we made it into the mid-70s. Up in the foothills right now, 69 in Chester. Alturas at 61. Weaverville right now at 72 degrees. Wind-wise, for the most part, on the lighter side. Not too bad. A little gustier yesterday. Winds will pick up, though, in the coming days. We'll talk more about that. Storms headed our way. Well, what does that mean? We can be looking at some rain showers. So here's pretty much Friday night into Monday or Tuesday, where we could see potentially 3/4 of an inch or more of rain in the valley and higher totals in the higher elevations. But we're going to talk more about these storms coming up in a few minutes, Haley.
All right. Thank you, Howie. Law enforcement arrested the owner of DK Recycling in Oroville, who they say illegally bought a large amount of stolen copper wire this year. This is just some of what they say they found. And Action News Now reporter Bea Barbosa is live at that recycling center on Ophir Road. Bea, the investigations linked to 25 cases of copper wire theft reported to the Butte County Sheriff's Office.
That's right, Haley. The sheriff tells me investigators believe that thieves were damaging AT&T infrastructure to get that copper wire and then bringing it to DK Recycling, which is just behind me here. They say that they were bringing it here in exchange for cash. Now, the sheriff tells me that DK Recycling was unlawfully recycling copper and other metals. An undercover operation allegedly found that owner Jacob Klein was illegally giving cash immediately on multiple occasions to undercover officers who gave fake names and fake IDs. BCSO searched the property yesterday, saying they found evidence and arrested Klein. State law requires recyclers to request an ID and take a photo and thumbprint from sellers, as well as keep transaction records for at least 2 years and delay cash payments for 3 days. Now, typically, the sheriff's office does not make information regarding undercover operations public, so I asked Sheriff Honey why they decided to notify people.
I think it was important basically to put not only the thieves on notice that we're going to track them down if we can, and if we can't, we're going to cut off their avenue to profit from their illegal activity, but also to let all recyclers know that we're out there, we're going to be checking. It rewards the ones who follow the law, who do the right thing.
This investigation stems from more than 24 reports of significant copper wire thefts from companies like AT&T and PG&E across Butte County from January through September of this year. Now, the sheriff tells me that it's also a fire hazard since thieves typically burn off the plastic coating in order to reveal that copper. Reporting live in Butte County, Bea Barbosa, Action News Now.
All right, thank you, Bea. Investigators say thieves often cut down telephone poles in order to steal that copper wire, disrupting essential services like phone lines and the internet. A convicted sex offender will spend more than 7 years in prison for the beating death of his own dog. District Attorney Mike Ramsey says Shane Rushing killed his dog Rex in September of last year on last year in Oroville, despite bystanders jumping in trying to stop him. Ramsey said it happened just after the judge had released Rushing from custody after an arrest for failing to register as a sex offender. The government shutdown now means delays for your November food stamps. We'll break down those expected impacts. But first, and new at 6, California is pouring more money into Planned Parenthood. We'll show you why.